Hello friends and welcome back to my channel and to this video that is starting out a bit unorganized, but honestly, let's just start out like this. I am gonna compare some of the new Makeup Geek, the rebranded Makeup Geek, the ones you see here, the square pans, with some of their old ones, the pans that are circular. I do have some of the new ones here. These are the Power Pigments. I have three of the Power Pigments. I also have some of the old ones here. You can see some shadows here. Also, there's two blushes. And then I have a full palette with neutrals here. So these are my original Makeup Geek. These are the circular pans. And as you can see, this is my neutral palette. And I will say that these are probably the neutrals I reach for the most. It is a pretty well used palette. Some of these I've gotten in PR, and you can see the ones I've gotten in PR because they are unused, but most of these I have bought myself, and that goes for this other big palette as well. Most of these I have bought myself. Some of them I have received in PR, but yeah. I really do love Makeup Geek and I have bought so many shadows from them. These new ones though, these I did receive in PR. I am affiliated with Makeup Geek and they did send me both of this palette in PR. And here I have picked out all of the shadows that are from the rebranding of Makeup Geek that I actually own the original. I own the shadow that are in the circular pan of these shadows. So I thought we were gonna just compare them together. You can see that these are filled with hairs. It's a bit butchered. I did get some of my foiled shadows in the top row here a bit broken, and some of those I actually do have in the circular pan as well. I have Daydreamer, I have in the Spotlight, I have Legend, all three of those, and also one of the brown ones. I think like maybe this one. Something. I had 4 of the metallic ones came to me broken, but you know what? I am pretty okay. I'll live. Oh, the green one as well, but that one was a new shadow, so I'm not gonna bother with trying to find anything for those. But this is meant to be like a matrix system, so that you can pick and choose shades yourself and make a little palette. I just put these shades already. I didn't think it's gonna be this many, so that's why I brought out the small palette, but here we are. The matrix is divided into light shades, medium shades, dark shades, and shimmers, and neutrals and colors divided. And as you can see, none of these colors here are super poppy, but the Power Pigments, the ones that are a bit more poppy colors, those are still available within the range, and you can build your own palette including those as well. I will also say that some of the rebranded shades are not here. There are some shades that have been re-released within the rebranding, like Peach Smoothie, and what else shade did I see? I saw some other shade like Corrupt, for example. Those aren't here. Those aren't within these palettes. I just got these full palettes in PR, but there are more shades, just so you know. I will also show you some quads in the end with some of the new shadows, because they do sell these as quads, so you can buy 4 shadows and just put them in a little compact that has 4 shadows. And I think that is such a cool and fun way to create some own like little color stories and just experiencing this brand for the first time if you haven't tried it before. So I'm gonna show you a couple of quads at the end that are not available at the site if you want to get some extra inspiration for like color combos. But let's just put these to the side, and then we can do just the new shadows here, and we can compare them to some of the other shadows I have. Is this correct? I don't think I have anything within this palette, so I'm just gonna leave it. I just wanted to show you that I do have something like that as well. I think this is pretty okay and we can see everything. So I'm just gonna swatch some of these on my arms. Oh, there's cat hair here. Like it is on everything. I'm just gonna clean my hands in between, clean my swatches, and we can just see whether or not I feel like they are similar to each other. Maybe we can just start with the ones that are like at the top here, the ones that didn't fit the little palette. I know that this one changed names, and there is a whole fun, within quotation marks, fun story behind that. This is Cocoa Bear, but now it is renamed to Cheetah Bear. This old shade, Cocoa Bear, was named after her ex, and I'm guessing that Cheetah Bear, it happened for a reason, okay? So we're gonna swatch these next to each other and we'll see if there's a difference between these two shadows. This is the only shadow that I know that is the same shadow within the rebranding, but it has changed names. The color is pretty spot on, but it feels, oh my god, my hands are so dry. Don't look at my self-tanner. This is the old one, this is the new one. I feel like they're pretty similar. I should probably moisturize my hands a bit. This one is a bit more cool tone, not gonna lie. little bit more cool toned, the new one. I'm gonna see if I can moisturize my hands a bit. Oh, it's probably gonna be a bit moisturized when I take it off with the wipe. And also excuse my bad self tanner, but this is the life I'm living. So they are pretty similar, but the new one is slightly more cool tone, and I will say it's also a bit more hardly pressed in the pan, but that could also be a good thing because it means it's not as fragile. I did do a look with the new Makeup Geek shadows, and that video is already live on my channel, and I didn't have any problems using them on the eye. Next shadow is a beautiful shadow, and this is Americano. This is the old one, this is the new one. So this is the old formula. Can you see anything? And this is the new formula. If you hear something in the background, that is my cat. Okay, I will say the old formula, slightly more pigmented, but that could again be that it's just a bit harder pressed in the pan. I could build it up. I'm gonna have to see if I can do maybe, would you like to see that? Maybe I can do like one eye with old shadows and one eye with new shadows, and we can see if there's actually a difference, because there's a lot of matte shadows that swatch just like this and are like amazing on the eyes. So I don't really know what to say about that, other than I can say that there is a slight change in formulas, but color-wise, these two are very similar. And what am I trying to achieve with this? Am I trying to say that the swatches are going to show if they're better? Not really. I think for me, the purpose of this video is mainly just to see whether or not you need to buy the new shades, or if it's just the similar. Like if you already have Bitten, do you need to buy the new Bitten? That is basically what I'm trying to achieve with this, to just show you whether or not they're like dead on dupes. Okay, so this is old Bitten, and the old Bitten never really swatched that good, as you can see, and this is the new Bitten. The new Bitten, you can see the old Bitten, it has a bit of an almost sheen to it to make it probably blend a bit better. The new Bitten is more of a truer burgundy red. So I will say that I do prefer the tone of the new Bitten a little bit more than the tone of the old Bitten. You can probably see the difference here. I hope you can, but yeah. I do prefer the tone of the new Bitten a lot more actually than the tone of the old one. This shadow was one of the unsung heroes in the old collection, and it is vintage. So this is old vintage and new vintage. Okay, so this is the old one and this is the new one. This is such a beautiful like taupey, purpley taupe, and you can see the old one swatches a lot better than the new one. And I will also say the new one is a little lighter, and I don't know if I like that. I prefer the tone of the old one that is a bit darker. I do feel like they have the same like kind of a color, that it is meant to be like a cool toned purpley gray kind of a color, like a taupey thing. Maybe not gray, but like a violet taupe. But I do prefer the old color over the new one. The new one is a bit lighter, and I liked it. I always like it when it's a bit darker. Well, as you can see by the pan in this one, this is my favorite and most used shade from Makeup Geek, and this is Cupcake. So this is old Cupcake and new Cupcake, and it is not that usual for me to have pan in eyeshadows, but well, here we are. So this is old Cupcake and this is new Cupcake. Ooh, maybe I prefer the new one. The one that has a bit more darkness to it. I always like shadows when they're a bit more dark. That is a bit more subtle, not as pastel-y. Ooh, I look forward to using this a lot. New Cupcake looks very promising. Yummy. Okay, here we're going into Morocco. This is old Morocco and new Morocco. And just from the pans, doesn't it seem like old Morocco is a bit lighter? Am I not seeing this correctly? Let's watch and see. So this is old Morocco. Oh, this was a bit flaky. Oops, sorry. I think I took too much. Actually, they are pretty similar in color, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe this is slightly more muted and like darker, but honestly, on the hand, not that much of a difference. I can't believe I'm showing you this awful, very horrible sunless tanner going away. This is not the best day for like swatches like this. Wow, there's such a difference between these. Oh my god, this is old Chickadee and this is new Chickadee. What's going on, you guys? This is such a difference. Am I even correct? Yeah, Chickadee. Wow. Oh, I swatched them in the wrong order, but this is the new one. And this is the old... My god, was the old one really that bad? Sweetie, can I help you? Yes? Meow? I don't know what's wrong. But yeah, I remember Chickadee being a very loved color, but honestly, this new one is so much more promising. Okay. Okay, so this is Shimma Shimma. I know everybody loves Shimma Shimma, but for me, Shimma Shimma is just such a boring shadow. It's just a light beige, but yeah, it's the old one and the new one. Okay, so this is the new one, and this is the old one. Wow, it's not even the same color. Okay. I feel like, I feel like maybe the old Shimma Shimma is more shimmery and this is more of a satin or a slight sheen. It's not even the same formula really. So that is a bit weird. Honestly, I don't know, but I do prefer the old Shimma Shimma over the new one. The new one is not something I would use, but to be fair, the old one isn't something I would use either, but I think that is the biggest difference so far. It's a bit confusing. Okay, so this color is Curfew and it is coming back. I do think just from like looking at it in the pan that the new Curfew seems a little bit darker than the old one. So yeah, it seems like it when I look at the monitor as well. So let's see how this swatch. Okay, so this is the, this is the new Curfew and this is the old Curfew. The new one swatches a little bit better and a little bit darker, I would say. So they're pretty much in the same ballpark. They're like a cool toned aubergine purple. Very pretty, both of them. I don't think you'll see that much of a difference on the eyes, but the new one is slightly darker and slightly, I don't know, and maybe slightly cooler as well, but mainly it's just one shade darker, but it's not that much of a difference, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so this makes me very excited because this shadow, wait, I'm doing it the other way around. This shadow, Time Travel, was actually taken out of the original lineup because this is the purple everywhere. This is the old formula, like the old round pans, and this is the new one. And they took Time Travel away, but I always thought the Time Travel was a really nice teal eyeshadow. But now it has come back and it is darker and more jewel toned and more blue. It's just more sultry. And compared to the old one, this one almost seems a bit lackluster. So that is pretty interesting. Just thinking about that, I actually did really love this one. So let's compare. It's cat hair everywhere, I swear. So let's compare the new one to the old one. Okay, so this is, oh, look at this. This is the old one and I loved this one. Like honestly, I thought it was so good. And this is the new one. I haven't used any of these. Oh, look at how that picks up. I think I took too much. Ah, sorry. Wow. So impressive. Okay, so both of them swatch as beautifully. These are very smooth and more lightly packed in the pan. I think it depends a bit on like what color it is, and I'm guessing how the formulation is and stuff. I know that different pigments work in different ways, but this color is even more beautiful than the old Time Travel, and I can't wait to use this on my eyes. Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, this is a shadow that I'm very close to hitting pan on, and this is Vanilla Bean. Pretty sure, right? Yeah, so this is the old Vanilla Bean and the new one. And the old one, this is my like matte bone color that I use when I use a matte bone color, which I don't do that often, but still often enough to almost pan this one. So let's see how these are compared. So this is the new one, and this is the old one. Pretty similar. Yeah, pretty similar. They felt pretty similar. They swatched pretty similar. I'm sorry that I am a bit stained right now from that blue swatch because that was so pigmented. But yeah, these are pretty comparable to each other, I'd say. Oh, I have this one here, but I actually do not have this shadows. I just took it out so that I can show you a bit how the foil ones looked. This one is Starry-Eyed and this one is Whimsical. I do have Whimsical though, so maybe I can just swatch these two and I can show you how these foil shadows look with the new formula. We can see how they look like compared to the old ones, because some of them came broken and some of them didn't. But this is Starry-Eyed and this is Whimsical, and they are very pretty and very shiny, as you can see. Now let's compare to the old Whimsical, because I do have, yeah, this is the old Whimsical. It's just supposed to be the same. This one looks a bit more icy lavender. Icy lavender in the sheen compared to the old one, because the old one is just like an icy pink, but that one is just icy. I kind of prefer the new one because that one has a bit more color to it, so it's actually more of a, look at these impressive swatches. It's actually crazy. Somehow I feel like these new ones are not as oily, which could be a good thing because I do know that a lot of people had problems with them creasing on the eyes. Not really me, although I will say I have gotten some more folds on my eyes since these came out. But yeah, they are pretty comparable. I do feel like maybe it is a bit less wet in the pan, the new one, and the new Whimsical is a bit more lavender pinky in the undertone, actually making it look a bit more pink in the swatch. And I kind of do prefer that. This is mesmerizing. Look at this. Yum. Okay, let's do the other one that was one of my favorites from before, and this is, why am I green here? This is Enchanted Forest, and I feel like this is exactly the same as Time Travel. It just seems all of a sudden darker and yummier, even though I really do love this shade, and this was a favorite of mine, but this new one is just even more dark and yummy. I love it. Okay, so this is the old one. Oh, the new one is falling down. And this is the new one. Wow, the new one. I didn't really have any problem with the old one on the eyes though. So I don't even know really what, like I said, what these swatches say. Because I didn't have any problems with this on the eye, even though it just swatched a bit weaker. And that's how it is with mattes. It's how they work on the eyes. That's all that matters. I will say that now that we have them swatched out, it's not that much of a difference between them. This one is though slightly darker even in the swatch. I feel like this is such a cult favorite, and this is Creme Brulee. Do you remember when everyone and their mama was talking about creme brulee? Well, creme brulee is back, and it is slightly more brulee. It is just not as light. It is slightly darker and has a bit of a more like beigey brown undertone. So let's see how these compare. This is the old one, the old creme brulee. Oh, I think I got too much. The old creme brulee, honestly, such a pretty shade. It really is. And this is the new creme brulee. I will say it doesn't swatch as impressive. And as you can see on the hand, it is just slightly more cool toned actually. My hand, like I said, is a bit splotchy now after all of this swatching, and it's also having a bit of self-tanner on it. But just looking at these, this creme brulee has a lot more of a peach undertone, and this one has a lot more of a more neutral undertone. So that is very interesting. I do think that this is going to be a really good transition shade on me though when I do neutral looks, because it seems to be just slightly darker than my skin tone and a bit neutral. And I prefer a neutral transition shade when I work with brown, so I do think I'm gonna really like this one. This last one is Tuscan Sun, and Tuscan Sun is another one of my favorite shades from Makeup Geek. This one, the old formula, I did use this a lot. It is a really nice, a bit similar to a Cupcake, but just a bit darker and a bit warmer. You can see how similar they are. So Tuscan Sun is also back in a new formula, and let's see how they compare. So this is the new Tuscan Sun. Oh, that is such a beautiful warm pink. And this is the old one. We'll say the new one, I mean, it swatches just slightly better than the old one. But I think it's pretty much the same kind of a tone. Maybe this one is a bit more of a neutral pink, and this one has slightly more orangey of an orangey undertone. But other than that, I do think they are pretty similar and will probably look very similar on the eyes as well. So I'm gonna clean this up a bit, and I'm gonna present, I think I'll pull together 4 different quads, just quickly showing you 4 different quads that you can put together yourself on the website and put in a little compact for 4 shadows if you just want to try out the brand, or if you just want to try some of the new shadows, or maybe you just want to have some inspiration for new color combos. You don't even have to buy any of these. You could just pull similar shades out of your collection and pair these 4 colors together for something, I mean, I don't know, fun and unusual maybe. Okay, so this is the first little quad, and I am using Time Travel, Current Obsession, Whimsical, and Cupcake to do a little quad where you have 2 shades that you can either deepen up or mix together to get a really smoky result. Something that you can use either on the lid or in the inner corners, and then a shade, Cupcake, that is such a beautiful one shadow look just on your lid, in your crease, and just mascara. It's beautiful, but it also turns into the most perfect transition shadow. So you can have some options if you want to go a bit more pinky purpley, cool toned, if you want to be dramatic, if you want to be like more everyday purpley pink. But yeah, this quad is stunning. I think I have to order the power pigments from Makeup Geek as well, and then I can get some of those little 4-pan palettes because I think I might need them. Okay, so this is the second quad, and this is Staycation, Bitten, So Pale, and Peach for the Stars. You all know how much I love a burgundy or a red together with a pink or a peach. And then don't underestimate just putting something, this isn't a white, this is more of a off-white or a white with a little bit of cream in it. Don't underestimate putting something like that either all in your inner corner and really blowing it out, or on your lid when you're having colors like this in your outer corner and crease. It's actually really, really pretty. This quad could also be a staple in your little collection to have those kind of pinky red creases for when you want to have a really poppy lid as well, because something like this in your crease and this in your inner corner and on your brow bone could be the perfect foundation for when you want to have a green or a blue or a pink or a purple on your lid as well. These are the kind of colors that I usually bring when I go on vacation. This is quad number 3. This is more of a green quad, but it's also a bit toned down. This is Tiki Hut, Chickadee, Olive View, and Enchanted Forest. And I will say that if I had the yellow power pigment, I would probably switch out this shadow for the yellow power pigment if I had that, but I don't. But if you want to make this a bit more toned down, you could always do something like this. But if you want to spruce it up a bit, do exchange this one for a more yellowy one, a brighter yellow. Then you can go yellow, green, green. And this is perfect when you want to tone it down, because I love playing with colors and I love playing with different kinds of greens, but I do realize that sometimes you need to tone it down a bit, and this is a more earthy green quad that is green without being Kermit. I mean, I love me a good Kermit look, but I do realize that maybe it's not for every occasion. Okay, so here is the fourth and final quad, and I'm doing something cool tone, something colorful, something still not super scary, even though we have 2 turquoises in here. This is Bedrock, and I do know that Bedrock has been a part of the original lineup as well, but I didn't own that one. But it is a very grayish light taupe. It's actually very, very pretty. This is the kind of neutral that I could definitely reach for. And then we have Smoke Signal. Smoke Signal is like a burnt dark brown. It's not a black and it's not a gray. It's like a burnt, so charred brown that it's almost a blackish gray, but there's still a bit of a brown undertone. Am I making sense? I don't know, but it's like a wearable gray, warm gray. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Then we have Medieval. This is a foiled dark turquoisey blue. And then we have, this is a power pigment, and this is Tenacious. So this is one of the power pigments, and I do feel like with something like this, you can do a neutral upper lid and then something fun on the lower lash line, or you can do something like this all over around the eye for a turquoise smoky eye, or you can skip them and just do something toned down and gray. And you can do something like this in the crease together with something like this on the lid. There are possibilities with just 4 shades to create something both neutral, colorful, smoky, and just more toned down for the office. So this is going to be the 4th quad, and that's going to be the end of the video. I do hope you found this somewhat helpful. Let me know in the comments what shades you would like to see from Makeup Geek in the future. I would love to see a return of the duochromes. I love the Makeup Geek duochromes. I'm Peachless. I still have it in the old formula, but I really do hope that they would bring that back. That would be super, super nice. So yeah, do give me some thoughts down below, and do check the description box for more information, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!